The following episode of The Kingdom of Isolation contains footage from the film being discussed. The footage is used solely for the purposes of education, commentary, and criticism under fair use. Please support the animators by watching this film on Disney Plus or home media where available. This episode also contains spoilers throughout. Hello my fellow Disney fans, and welcome to the final episode of The Kingdom of Isolation for 2025. I'm Kenzie Retro, and today, we did it. We actually did it. We've covered the entirety of Disney Toon Studios for the entire year. I honestly don't know how we managed it, but we did. We actually did it. So here we go. This is it. It's the end of an era. It's the last film in this franchise, and it's also the last film from Disney Toon Studios. So tonight, for one last time, we're going to be returning to Pixie Hollow with Tinkerbell and the Legend of the NeverBeast, which released in 2014 in the UK and 2015 in North America. It's a gentle, thoughtful film about listening before fearing and choosing understanding when the world rushes to judgment. It's a fitting story to sit with as we close out not just the year, but the film also marks the final chapter of the Tinkerbell franchise, and it was the last feature released by Disney Toon Studios before the studio's 2018 closure. Not ending with fireworks, but one with a soft echo. The kind that reminds you how much something matters once it's gone. And so as this year winds down, we're reflecting on endings that aren't really endings, just pauses. On creative worlds that shaped us, even if they slipped away quiet, and on the small, brave act of kindness at the heart of this story. So settle in, let the air exhale as we go through one last trip to Pixie Hollow, as we head to Disney Toon Studios one last time. And that is until we get to the ranking video of Disney Toon Studios. So we'll worry about that later down the road.
For a glowing green star, the fourth from the right.
Grey DeLisle provides the narration here, and she's credited as Grey Griffin. And we get a glimpse of what the NeverBeast looks like one more time for Joel McNeely, who gives us a more cinematic score this time around. And we focus on Fawn, who's our main protagonist this time around. And she is also the animal fairy after all. And she's voiced this time around by Judy Hopps herself, Jennifer Goodwin. Katie Tunstall also provides the songs for the film this time around. The first one being Float.
You're up to something.
Who, me? Never.
Yep, you definitely are. I know that look. I invented that look.
Now, when you've been around someone for so long, you pick up on these little quirks. Fawn has a baby hawk she calls Hannah, make of that what you will, that she's taking care of, and Tink name drops scout fairies for the first time. The hawk is hidden in a basket of blueberries.
Everything will be fine. Just fly casual.
The moment anybody says everything's going to be fine, it's not going to be fine. Rosetta causes the berries to float and reveals the baby hawk. And now the real hawks come out to play. Hannah's gone loose. Nyx, who's a scout fairy voiced by Rosario Dawson, manages to save Iridessa and gets the rest of the scout fairies to rein in the hawks. And those scouts are braver than I ever will be handling those hawks.
Fawn, I know you. You've always let your heart guide you, which is admirable,
But I also need to listen with my head.
She promises she will next time, Hannah manages to fly free and claims to be, and Fawn claims to be making a fresh start as a responsible model citizen. She then hears an unusual roar coming from the forest, so decides to follow it. This is where she meets the NeverBeast for the first time. Fawn describes Gruff, the name she gives NeverBeast, as a cross between Didelphis marsupialis and Bison occidentalis. And those are respectively a South American possum and an extinct North American bison. We get a reference to Aesop's lion and mouse fable as Fawn pulls the thorn out of Gruff's paw. Fawn heads back to her house and is being questioned by Nix about the roar heard that morning.
What will you do if you find it?
My job.
That's not concerning at all. Strange Sight is the next song, and I think it's my personal favorite song of the film. But my personal favorite song of the entire franchise is, of course, How to Believe from Tinker Bell and the Great Fairy Rescue, which you can hear my thoughts on in the top right of your screens alongside every Kingdom of Isolation episode that I've done so far. I've done nearly 160 of these episodes over the course of nearly 6 years. And I cannot thank you guys enough for the support, but I'll get all mushy about that at the end of the episode. So, Fawn is trying to learn more about Gruff and eventually befriends him. The next morning, Gruff wakes Fawn up to show the structure he built. With help from her pixie dust, they build another structure together. Scouts try to put Gruff to sleep, but miss and get knocked out by their own dust. And that dust is nightshade dust. Nix heads to the library and reads through the books on every animal in Pixie Hollow. Back to Fawn, she introduces her friends to Gruff. Shortly afterwards, Queen Clarion wants Fawn's expertise to help Nix find the dangerous creature. We learn that this isn't the first time the NeverBeast has been seen in Pixie Hollow, building 4 towers, one in each realm, before transformation.
Bottom line, either we capture the NeverBeast, or life as we know it is over.
No pressure then. Nix wants to go for Gruff at dawn. Fawn reluctantly agrees. It's not safe for Gruff in Pixie Hollow. She spends time with him looking at the stars, and we get treated to a beautiful shooting star. Those night sky shots are always stunning to see. And a lot of green, which, that doesn't bode well for the next day. The next morning, Fawn loses Gruff. Tink helps Fawn look for him by heading to the Winter Realm, while Fawn heads to the Autumn Realm, where the 3rd tower is complete, and the storm is drawing closer. Gruff knocks Tink out, the Winter Tower is complete, and now it's time for the transformation to start. Oh boy, this is not good. Thankfully, Tink's going to be okay. Fawn finds Gruff again, only to see him captured by the scouts.
You did the right thing.
Did she, though? I get the scouts are doing their job, but at the same time, they aren't really listening to Fawn. Your heart does break for her here as well. The animals and fairies hide from the impending storm, which should have disappeared by now. But there's more to the NeverBeast than you think, Nix. It's not too late for you to do the right thing. Tink then reveals to Fawn that Gruff knocked her out the way of a falling tree. And hang on, where's Fawn going?
To do the right thing.
Shouldn't that be what Nix should be doing? to race against time now regardless. They soon see Gruff transform further from something with some really impressive lighting on his fur and the inclusion of wings. Realizing that Nick's got it all backwards, Gruff built the towers to absorb the lightning to keep Pixie Hollow safe, not to destroy it. 2 towers down, and seeing the neon glow really adds to the amazing animation this franchise has had. We now have 1 tower left to go. No! And that had to be one of the scouts. Had to be. No time to build another tower to complete the task. The lightning storm now starts to set Pixie Hollow on fire. And I once again have to praise Joel for making the music feel really cinematic here. Gruff saves Fawn while absorbing all the lightning possible. Saving Pixie Hollow in the process, and the fairies save Gruff and Fawn. What I really do wish is that we could have had more time between them. And it really hurts seeing Gruff like this after everything he did to save them. Some of the lightning manages to bring Fawn back, and she is thankfully okay. Fawn then gives us the true story in voiceover about Gruff, calling him her hero. And hey, look, that's me with Chelsea. Chelsea's my hero. And soon, it's time for Gruff to go back into hibernation, meaning the fairies are never going to see him again.
It's time.
We get a beautiful reprise of Strange Sights, and the end credits gives us the theme for this film, 1,000 Years, to finish not just the franchise, but Disney Toon Studios, as they wouldn't release any more films after this, marking the end of an era for Disney. And I will admit, I got a bit emotional with this, because I've really grown to love these characters for a franchise where I'm not the target demographic. It's surreal that I've actually grown to love these characters. And the fairies give Gruff every amenity possible. Spring water, nightlight, fresh air, a very soft bed.
I love you, Gruff.
And with that, Gruff goes into hibernation, ending an era for Walt Disney Animation. And so, for one last time, for not just Disney Toon Studios, but for 2025, let's head to the schools. Tinkerbell and the Legend of the NeverBeast isn't just another entry in the Disney Fairies franchise. It's a quiet, emotional full stop. Released as the final Disney Toon Studios feature before the studio's eventual closure on June 28, 2018, the film carries an unspoken weight. It doesn't end with spectacle or fanfare, but with understanding, kindness, and the ache of letting something you love drift into peaceful memory. And that restraint ends up being its biggest strength. The story, I'm going to give a 7. At its core, the Legend of the NeverBeast tells a familiar but meaningful story. fear comes from understanding, and listening can change everything. While the narrative is fairly predictable, it's crafted with care and sincerity. The emotional beats land not because they surprise you, but because they're earned. It's a simple story told gently, and sometimes that's enough. That's all you need. Characters, I'm going to give an 8. This is undeniably Fawn's film, and that choice pays off beautifully. Shifting the spotlight away from Tinkerbell allows the story to breathe in new ways, grounding it in empathy and emotional intelligence rather than invention and adventure. The relationship between Fawn and Gruff is the heart of the film. Their bond, built on trust, curiosity, and companionship, is deeply affecting. Gruff is never treated as a monster, only as something misunderstood. And Fawn's refusal to give up on him gives the story its soul. That being said, their one lingering wish is more time between them, more time together, more shared moments, more stillness between them. Their connection is powerful enough that you want to sit in and just enjoy their company a little longer before goodbye. Visuals, I'm going to give a 9. Visually, Legend of the NeverBeast is one of the franchise's strongest entries. Gruff's design alone is stunning. His textured fur, expressive eyes, and especially the way the light dances across him during the lightning storm elevate the animation to something truly special. The storm sequence is a standout with the glowing towers, neon lighting, the lightning itself, and a sense of scale that feels more cinematic than anything Disney Toon Studios had done before. And it's a reminder of how far the studio had come, right at the moment it was about to fade away. The soundtrack, it's going to be another 10. We've made it 6 from 6, and we've got Joel McNeely to thank for that. Joel McNeely delivers yet another exceptional score, but this one feels different, bigger, more emotional, more final. His music gives the film a sweeping, almost elegiac quality, particularly during the storm and Gruff's sacrifice. Katie Tunstall's contribution blend seamlessly with the score, adding warmth and introspection without overpowering the story. The reprise of Strange Sights near the end feels less like a song and more like a goodbye. And this soundtrack doesn't just support the film, it carries it. And finally, the legacy. So we're going to give it a 7. Critically, the film landed well, holding a 75% score on Rotten Tomatoes, with the consensus noting that it sprinkles enough fairy dust to lift this predictable yet excellently carried tale to fantastical new heights. Financially, it did earn $32 million at the box office when it was released in theaters, and an additional $18 million in home media sales, totaling $50 million. And unfortunately, it did make it the lowest grossing film in the franchise. There was once talk of a 7th and even an 8th film, the 7th film being untitled and undated, but it never came to be. So instead, Legend of the NeverBeast stands as both the final chapter of the Tinkerbell films and the last theatrical release from Disney Toon Studios. Not a failure, just an ending. And I think it's a beautiful ending in my eyes. So the score overall is an 82%, which puts it above Aladdin and the King of Thieves and just behind Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. So still in the top half of the field, And out of the 47 films that I've covered here, it sits in 18th place. And that's the last film to go on the scoreboard. Piglet's Big Movie is my favorite Disney Toon Studios film. It's the highest scoring film in the studio's history. And I'll go into the rankings of this studio in due course. There's something poetic about how this franchise ended. Not with Tinkerbell front and center, not with fireworks, but with a story about listening, sacrifice, and letting go. Gruff goes into hibernation, the fairies move on, the studio closes its doors, and yet it doesn't feel empty. Tinkerbell and the Legend of the NeverBeast is a soft goodbye to an era of Disney that mattered quietly but deeply. The direct-to-video sequels do get a bad rep. There's no denying that. A lot of them are bad, but there are some good ones in there. So, like Gruff himself, Disney Toon Studios didn't roar on its way out. It protected something beautiful and then rested. And honestly, that just feels right. It feels just right. And that is it. I'm definitely recommending this one. For not just sentimental reasons, but also the entire franchise as a whole has been incredible throughout. Especially my personal favorite entry, Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure. If we were to combine all the elements from Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure and combine that with How to Believe from the Great Fairy Rescue, we'd end up with the perfect Tinkerbell movie in my eyes. So, that is it. The end of Disney Toon Studios. 47 films covered over the course of 12 months. We had an anniversary special that got delayed. And yeah. I honestly don't know what else to do, what else to say, where to begin with summing up a cornerstone of Disney's history. So, all that's left to say now is we're going to close this chapter off by saying thank you, Disney Toon Studios, for giving us some wonderful memories with some of our favorite characters over the years, starting all the way in 1990 and going 28 years. And while there were some low points, some duds, and some absolute horror shows, there were still moments that had some genuine care put into them. And a big thank you, as always, to you guys for continuing to support the Kingdom of Isolation throughout, not just this year, but the last nearly 6 years here in the Kingdom of Isolation. I've covered the Walt Disney Animation Studios films. I've covered a number of their live action films, a couple of specials as well. And we've covered the Pixar films, and we've now done every single Disney Toon Studios film. The next cornerstone to do is going to be the live action remakes. Now, there aren't as many of those, but we're going to worry about those later down the road because I'm going to focus on starting to write the DreamWorks Diaries, which is going to be the start of a brand new series here on this channel where we're going to look at DreamWorks animation. Now, I'm not going to be churning out episodes as frequently as I have been over the last couple of months, because it's left me a little burnt out. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a couple of weeks off to not just rest and recuperate, but also it will allow me to catch up on some films that were released out 2025, put together my top 10 films of the year, and also get ready for the start of the DreamWorks Diaries. And not only that, I'm going to be upgrading my equipment as well. I'm going to have a brand new webcam in the new year, and I'll have a new mic as well, ready to record with for the new year as well. So those will all come in due course, and hopefully by that point, I might even look at having getting a desk as well, so that I've got something to work with rather than relying on a dining chair from a dining table that a friend gave me. That being said, again, thank you so much for all the support that you guys have shown me over the course of the last 12 months with Disney Toon Studios. It really does mean the world to me, and it's been a hell of a journey. I've had my high points, I've had my low points, but we did it. We covered an entire studio in a full calendar year. So what are we going to do? Well, haven't quite worked out what I'm going to do for next year's anniversary special yet, but we'll worry about that later down the road. So, that being said, hope you enjoyed this season finale of the Kingdom of Isolation. If you did, hit the thumbs up. And if you want to be part of the Kingdom of Isolation yourself, you can hit the subscribe button down at the bottom, click the bell, turn on notifications so you don't miss when an episode goes live on this channel. And honestly, it really means the world to me to have you guys with me. And I hope that I'll continue having your support heading into 2026 when we start covering the DreamWorks animated films. We'll start doing the live action Disney films, well, the live action remakes. And who knows what new adventures we're going to have as we head into 2026. But one thing we do know is that I'm going to be there to guide you through all those adventures every step of the way. So I've got a passes page as well, where you can see extended and uncut episodes of The Kingdom of Isolation. And from 2026, the movie soundtracks will be back for you to hear in the background of these episodes. And so, hope you guys have a wonderful new year. And for one last time, in 2025, I'll see you guys next time in the Kingdom of Isolation. Dear Diary, looking back, it's hard to believe how completely the last 6 years have been shaped by what I've come to call the Kingdom of Isolation. Disney and Pixar weren't just studios I covered. They became my creative landscape, my routine, my comfort zone. Film after film, I learned their rhythms, their storytelling language, their emotional beats. There was a safety in that familiarity, and genuine joy too. Those years taught me how deeply animation can move people, how craft and heart can intertwine, and how revisiting beloved worlds can feel like returning home. But reflection has a way of revealing quiet limitations alongside gratitude. Somewhere along the way, the walls of that kingdom grew taller than I realized. Not restrictive exactly, but enclosing. I began to sense that by staying in one place for so long, I was missing the chance to grow in new directions. The wider animation world kept moving, experimenting, taking risks, and I was watching from afar. That awareness has been sitting with me for a while now, waiting for me to act on it. Today feels like that moment. The DreamWorks Diaries mark a shift, not of rejection of the past, but an evolution from it. I'm stepping forward with curiosity instead of certainty, ready to engage with a studio known for bold choices, unconventional humor, and a very different storytelling voice. I don't know exactly where this path will lead, but that's part of what makes it exciting. As I look ahead, I carry the lessons of the past 6 years with me, not as baggage, but as a foundation. The Kingdom of Isolation will always matter, but it's time to see what lies beyond its borders.